All right. Okay. We're live, so whatever you say is now
We
recorded.
are live. And right there, look,
Uh, they said it's okay. Copyright claim withdrawn.
8
Okay.
p.m. 8 p.m.
They're getting quicker. He must
We
be
got
waiting
to.
by the phone
Okay.
every night.
He's got a recording playing every Sunday or whenever Agnes Young finds out when we're going on, and he just hits a recording. Yes, once again,
We gotta
they're
send him.
okay.
And I put some nice things about Facebook in the thing, thinking that would help.
It
It
didn't
didn't.
help.
Didn't help. Hold on a
No,
minute.
we better
Let me.
start.
I tried to butter him up a little bit. I
Let me go
said,
through it again. Oh, go ahead.
hold on. I said we love Facebook. It's such a great place to have an open and honest discussion without reprisal.
Okay, once again, let me go through. Want to thank our veterans, our military serving overseas and homeland, our first responders, police, fire, EMS, doctors, nurses, tow truck drivers. Take two. That's twice I said that tonight.
Yes.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, we got booted. Funny part was, Dean, now they're at 8 o'clock. 8
They're getting
o'clock.
quicker. We think that Agnes Young is just sitting by his phone
Agnes,
waiting every
yeah,
Sunday.
he's got a tape recording, and he just, right here, as you can see, some
Copyright
quarter mile,
claim withdrawn.
8
All
p.m.
what's it say? All changes were removed from your post. So it says.
Yeah, yeah. And the video had ended.
Okay, Tammy's back. Joe's back.
Rutherford's back. Okay, Doug. We were talking about Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah. So and then Texas sent him to Condola Harris's
Consulate.
house. Yeah.
Yes. And, here, if you really want the definition of a hypocrite, these people are. They're telling all the Texans, all the people on the southern border, oh, it's inhumane not to let them in. We got to do something with them.
Right.
And 50 of them get flown to Martha's Vineyard. And it's in an uproar. There was a woman that says, we have no resources for them here. Well, what are you talking about? You think Texas and all them should take them and keep them? Where's their resources?
Well, believe it or not, Fox had a whole different take on this, and he ended up getting Ted Cruz involved in this. Listen to what Ted Cruz says about this, because you can get in trouble for that. They're saying that this is illegal trafficking of people.
Okay. And I got a debate on that.
Okay, Ted Cruz says, yes, you're correct. But listen to how he spins it. Here we go.
Let's talk about the law. You're a lawyer, Senator. You've argued before the Supreme Court successfully. And from a legal standpoint, let's say I went down to the border and I brought a big truck with me and I picked up a bunch of illegal immigrants and I started transporting them across the country. Would I or would I not likely be arrested for human trafficking? And would it be illegal to do that for me if I did that?
For you, a citizen, you could easily be arrested, although, to be honest, Joe Biden's Justice Department wouldn't arrest you. But in an ordinary Justice Department,
I'm a conservative. I disagree. They'd arrest me. They'd arrest me. If I was a liberal, I'd get away with it.
True.
Yeah. But back to the law. The law is clear.
It is clear, and right now, the biggest human trafficker on the face of the planet is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
True. Because he's loading them on a bus and taking them to all the red states.
Well,
did you see what Mayor Lightfoot did? Chicago mayor?
No.
She's shipping them off because they've got some. She's shipping them off to the suburb cities of one of the Republican mayors. So here, let's back up, Doug. I got a whole new look on this thing that you might agree or disagree. Now, the right side's being called extremists right now, racist, discriminatory, discrimination on that it's worse, this, that, and the other. Martha's Vineyard's full of left-siders. Will you agree with that?
Yes.
How discriminatory can you get with what they're saying? We
You're
don't
right.
want them here.
You're right. I know what clip you're talking about, and let me see if I can pull it up.
I believe I sent it to you. I'm not sure.
Hold on a minute.
But the whole thing is, if that was all right, majority of right-siders on that island, oh my God, they'd be flipping out saying that, they're racist, they're discriminating against them.
Right.
But it's okay. They moved them to Cape Cod already. You believe that?
No, let me add this because she says exactly what you're saying. Let me get it running here
Listen
somehow.
to this, people.
No audio. Hold on a minute. Let me get it back up here.
You're right, and that's what DeSantis said. Martha's Vineyard's considered a sanctuary city, Doug. So that's what DeSantis said. He sent them there because they're a sanctuary city.
Right.
They ain't so sanctuary. It depends. If you make $400,000 a year, they consider you poverty. That's sanctuary city for you, but not an illegal immigrant.
All right. Let's see if we can get it to play now.
The difficult challenges are we have at some point in
No
time
audio?
we have to move from here to somewhere else, right? We
Yeah, you got it.
We don't have the services to take care of 50 immigrants, and we certainly don't have housing. We're in a housing crisis as we are on this island, and so we can't house everyone here that lives here and works here. We don't have housing for 50 more people.
Well, you don't have housing for Will's got a good point. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. We got an illegal immigrant problem.
Right.
And up in Cunlif's front yard and over at Martha's Vineyard now.
Right.
But isn't it funny? Just not even a week ago, she said we didn't have a problem.
Right.
And that's right. Well, and that's basically 50 people. You can't accommodate 50 people in that city.
Non-paying individuals. So if you were to go there and visit, and you're buying a hotel room and doing whatever,
yeah.
But when you get dumped with 50 people who don't have any money, you got to take care of them somehow. So they don't have a homeless problem. So they don't know how to take care of these people.
Well,
Obama has 6 bedrooms.
yeah, Obama's got 6 bedrooms. But stop. Think about this. Who they got 50 people. How many thousands have they bust into other cities?
And how many millions are in Texas and Florida?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They're bitching about 50 people.
Exactly. So why don't we just keep sending them up?
Here's a better idea. As they tell some of these other cities, have your hotels open up, like out in California with the homeless, remember? Newsom, hey, have your hotels open up and welcome them in for a few days. If the room's not rented, you should give this to these 50 people.
We're going to talk about that. That mayor is not happy.
Yeah. 50 air. You ain't shitting, Bob. And that ain't no, now we're profiling, Lord forbid. Fucking Facebook's gonna come on our ass for profiling. That'll be the next warning I get. You watch. We're profiling.
We're all right.
But we ain't run our scroll.
Oh my gosh.
Thank God I ain't let the F word fly yet. But
there you go, Facebook.
50 people And here's the sad part about this: 50 people are on national news only because DeSantis sent them. And the problem is they're making DeSantis as Trump's golden boy, which he ain't Trump's golden boy. He's all of our golden boy, but you know they're going to paint the bad picture. And the better part is Abbott sending him right to her front yard.
Yes. And she's the one who actually came out and said that, you know, they're still trying to clean up the mess that Trump left them down there.
And they're talking about DeSantis may have committed kidnapping. He may, you know, no, he didn't.
Now, he responded to that and said it was all volunteer. If they wanted to go, they could go. When they got up there, they were interviewed. Whoever was reporting stated that they were told they were going to have jobs and housing and all that up there, wherever they're at.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. So now they're mad at DeSantis for that.
Well, what's the matter? They ain't Florida.
Exactly. I 100% agree.
Well, it's a sanctuary city. Isn't that what sanctuary cities are supposed to do? Yesterday.
Yep, that's what they're there for.
So, whatever. Yeah, Marty, he sent him right to Consular Harris's front yard.
Yes. Yes.
You know? Yeah. I agree with you, Will. I mean, it's because, like I said, a week ago, she said there wasn't a problem. There wasn't a problem.
I agree.
And hey, just not getting off the whole deal with Martha, you're right. And the guy that Holman was his last name, was head of immigrations and that during that, through some of Obama and Trump. He stated that in a congressional hearing, and they tried cutting him off, and he kept stating that them cages and everything that you're talking about that were all Trump was built through the Obama administration. That was all built during the Obama administration. He's the one that started doing that, not Trump. Trump, if you dig deep into that, Deborah probably already knows this, but if you dig deep into that, Trump went directly by the laws that were in place at that time for the immigration problem, and that's why they were put there. That was Obama's laws. That was Obama and Joe Biden's administration, you know, that made them laws, not Trump.
Right.
But they spin it off. It's Trump's fault. All right.
Lori, sorry, you just got to follow us around. Depends on what Facebook decides to do with us.
Yeah. And Facebook.
So
it is no longer 8:03, Lori. We get the okay at 8 p.m. now.
Yeah, they have him on speed dial now, and he's waiting there.
Yeah.
So one thing that's been missing since June, at least as far as I can tell, since June, do you know that CNN has fact checkers? All of them do. All of them have fact checkers. They have not fact checked Joe Biden or Beetlejuice since June.
The reason why is, remember that day I called, it was background end of May. I called you up and I said, I'm going to send you some. CNN started fact checking Biden's speech, and there was like 10 things that were false.
And they can't keep up.
Yeah, they can't keep up.
Some of the things that CNN hasn't caught, but you know all these other ones have, is about the American Rescue Plan. The inflation is at zero. He did say that.
The Inflation Reduction Act, all that. What pisses me off is the infrastructure bill. and all that shit. There's a lot of money coming out of all that going to Ukraine. You know, they're calling for Putin's head. You see that?
Yeah. We talked about it last week. Thank goodness for the C&D No Bull show. You would not have known that. But CNN, the Clinton News Network, they can't keep up with the amount of crap that's coming out of there. So I think this guy must have got fired because we haven't seen him since June. He hasn't fact checked one thing. Beetlejuice is saying whatever she wants to say, and
You don't need fact checkers. Peter Dassey fact checks.
right.
Every
We
day.
have him there, so we got that under control. But coming out of the White House, we don't have anything. Who's telling lies?
Getting better every day. Joe Biden. It'll be the first interview.
It can't be Joe Biden. Can't be Joe Biden. It is. Well, it is really Biden.
Oh my God, that's first interview, and Doug puts that up.
That is bizarre.
Wow.
I can't. I gotta rewatch it now. I gotta see.
Joe, why you on 60 Minutes?
I don't know.
None of the networks will have me anymore.
I don't know why
after my last speech a couple weeks ago. I don't understand.
I don't know why I'm here. Corn Pop here?
Corn Pop. Hold on. My earpiece ain't working. Joe.
Right. Barack. Are you there?
Where are you, Barack?
All right. So Will let us know if he says anything that makes sense.
Well, right after he said hi, everything else didn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. That should go away now.
But see, the problem with Deborah, I'm glad she's on because she'll probably back me on this one. The problem is we're all getting pissed off about these executive orders. You know, his executive order and money and everything else out and everything. And, you know, like the college tuition, he was going to executive order that. The problem is in the Patriot Act. When George Bush and 9/11, the Patriot Act went in, they're going and picking pieces out of that Patriot Act. And that's where he's using some of these executive powers. And it needs to be revisited. You know, I mean, the Patriot Act needs to be gone over and redone.
Yeah. It like everything else except the Constitution. But you do need to update laws as you go along, not the Constitution.
The Constitution's okay now, Doug. He said that on Thursday.
He said it's not it's okay. Is it absolute now?
Yeah, remember the extremists, the MAGA people are trying to change the Constitution, and that Constitution has to stay. That has to stay the way it is. But 5 months ago, the Constitution is not absolute. You can't make shit like this up.
All right. So your tax dollars, by the way, how are you doing on your student loans?
Little by little, Doug. I'm chewing at them like a mouse.
Okay.
Little by little. I'm
right.
working my ass off, checking my check my check stubs, make sure taxes are paid so I can pay them off.
And how's your donations that are going over to Ukraine? They doing okay?
Little by little out of my check, I'm making sure.
Making sure somebody eats over there. Now, guess what you get to do?
What?
You get to pay for. Let me make sure I get the numbers right here. You get to pay for 400 Secret Service and 1,500 soldiers to go over and protect the Queen's funeral. Biden is sending them over. it's not our responsibility. Why are we involved?
I, I,
You want to say that's an awesome job, Joe. You did nice doing
no,
that.
that's not what I'm saying. I don't feel that we should. We have no business being there to protect the Queen when they got their own freaking country and army. You know,
They have their own army. It looks like, first of all, their people. You know, I'm sure they have their percentage of people that would do something, but it looks pretty heavily guarded right here in the picture I'm looking at. Why
hey,
would we
listen,
need 400 Secret Service and 1,500 soldiers?
you ever watch some YouTube videos of people walking up and fucking with them, the elite guard for the Queen?
Right. Yeah.
Them guys get brutal, man. Sometimes
they
when
do.
they get brutal. What the hell what are our military going to do? They're going to be standing there watching some dude smack somebody. Don't touch it, blah, 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 screaming like they're, and they're going, "Fuck, we can't do that." How do you?
Right.
Can we join your army? You know,
Well,
they don't need help.
They're also sending over 3 helicopters from the Met's Air Support, which will be working around the clock with firearm officers.
It's
You don't have a choice in this.
firearm officer. They're sending the IRS over.
What?
They're yeah, we did. We're sending the IRS over firearm
The
officers.
Problem with it all is we don't have a choice in this. We're paying for that no matter what. Our contribution. So make sure you work a little bit more overtime because you've got a lot of debt on your plate.
You know, I got to ask, did King Charles ask for this?
We offered it to them.
You're right, Joe. You're damn right.
What?
We can't even enforce our own laws.
That's true. U.S. President Joe Biden is set to take over the Queen's funeral as he will reportedly bring 400 Secret Service officers to the service next week, Monday the 19th, tomorrow. So, and
They're in flight. Marty's got a good comment. And that's true. I've been watching some of that shit.
Exactly. But we're gonna do that.
I don't hear him say, "Let's go, Brandon," over there. Let's go, Charles. What do they mean? I can see Biden. What do they mean? They're actually saying his name. Joe,
Here's
settle down.
why I think that you are paying for this, because they sent out a thing stating that heads of states and their spouses are welcome to attend. They all must take commercial flights in, and they must be on a bus. They'll have a bus for them. No limos, no that. And the United States is going, absolutely not. We're not doing that, which I kind of agree with that. But I don't know why we're protecting that. But
Pelosi, well, do they have happy hour on the flight? I'll think about it if they have happy hour.
Can I get some more peanuts?
I tell you what, I don't disagree. Unpopular comment. I wasn't a fan of hers.
Well, we don't have any choice in the matter. We're sending our people over there to protect her going to her like she's going to die. What's going to happen? What is really going to happen?
Are they keeping her on ice, dude? Because she's been dead for 3 weeks. Come on.
I don't know, but what do you think somebody's going to steal her?
I don't know. I mean, she's got to be upstairs going or downstairs or whatever. Going, whichever place she went going. Come on, man. Get me in the ground.
Leadline coffin.
Headline coffin.
Will, has the
So
president
if
said
they-
anything comprehensible yet?
You know, the kids all used to like to play with my hair. They'd lay it down and then the sun would bring it right back up.
My friend Corn Pop.
Corn Pop, he thought he was a bad dude. He got lost on stage again here last week or 2 weeks ago. He was
What
walking
happened?
in a circle. He got lost on stage again. Again. He walking in circles, dude. They had to literally come up on the stage again and tell him which way to walk off. How many times is that going to happen?
I don't know.
Well, hopefully only till 2024 or January of 25.
If we can make it that long. Because, listen, as bad as this is, it gets worse after this. If we take him out now, it gets worse.
You got Dumb and Dumber.
We
The
got
whore and the drunk.
cackling.
Close, he'd be pimping her. He's putting. You send us 5 million barrels of oil, I'll send her over to you for the night.
Did you see the president get angry at the airport? He got very upset. Listen to his whatever you want to call this, his tirade about our airports.
Through the infrastructure law, we're investing $62 million here at Logan. It's the largest grant for airport terminals in the country thus far, and one of the largest federal investments in airports ever. This project is going to create 5,900 jobs, union jobs, where people make a decent salary. Folks, America invented modern aviation, but we've allowed our airports to lag behind our competitors. Today, not a single solitary American airport, not one, ranks in the top 25 in the world. The United States of America, not one airport ranks in the top 25 in the world. What in the hell's the matter with us?
Wow.
You're what's wrong with us.
Wow.
You know, here, listen. Honest to God on this. He talks about union. Notice in his speeches lately, union. You notice how he's pushing that? The reason is because I don't know any union worker out there right now, maybe a couple, that support him. For 1 year. You're right, Tom, for 1 year. If that, there won't be 5,000 for a year either. There'll be maybe 1,000 start up, and in a 6 month time, you might have 4 to 6 months time, Tommy. You know this. You might have 5,000 there for a couple months, and that, but then it's going to dwindle down, and at the end, you're only going to have about 300 or 400. But he stopped the railroad strike.
Well, how did he do that? Because I wasn't up for that. That was early morning.
I don't.
What you called me at like 6:30 in the morning?
He's-
Said he took care of it.
Yeah, he took care of it. Biden took care of the strike. His administration took care of it. We don't know how, Doug. We haven't heard how. The strike, they didn't strike, but we don't know what was said, what. He just took care of it. He didn't take care of shit.
Okay, so
And I tell you what, Deborah, honestly,
Deborah, not Deborah.
I'm against that, but I understand. I mean, that hurt the unions pretty good, but the railroad was. I think the railroad, it would have went the same direction. It's federally subsidized, and I think if they had went on strike, they wouldn't have. The railroad's federally subsidized.
Privately owned.
Yeah, how much money did we give them on the last bailout bill?
In 08, I don't know that we did, but I could be wrong.
Federal controls a lot of it. What
What's he doing?
He's whispering. I stopped the railroad from striking.
Oh, he did that again this week.
Yeah.
Now,
Doug knows more about that than I do.
well, Conrail, when Conrail was sold off by the government, they kept certain places. Newark, New Jersey is one place. Up in Chicago is another place where the ports are. Because if they would have sold it to, let's say, BN would make sure that their freight got moved over somebody else. So they kept that so that it would be fair, and every railroad company would be able to get what was coming to them.
I don't. He stopped it. That's all I'm gonna say. He stopped.
He didn't do anything. He slept through it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Somebody
Because
else
they ratified it.
and said, "Okay, we took care of it."
At 6:30 in the morning. It was ratified.
Now, just so people know, it wasn't money that was at issue. That wasn't
No.
so much the issue. It was the
Value of life.
Yes, they're on call 24/7, unless they're either working or they actually have taken the day off, like they marked off where you can't be called. That
Yeah, but
and
they were
something-
still calling them in, and the
Right.
insurance. They were taking a lot of the insurance. But these guys are working 80, 90 hours a week. And sorry, I mean, nobody's coming in. There's no help.
it would have been crippling if they would have went on strike.
We'd have been screwed. We'd have been screwed.
Yep.
There ain't no two ways about it.
So good job, Joe Biden.
Good job, Joe Biden.
Awesome.
Myself this drink.
Did I send you the one where he whispers that he cut the federal deficit by $2.3 billion or $1 trillion or whatever?
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre. So you were talking about sending
Right.
these immigrants to hotels earlier.
So I cut it by 2.3 trillion, but unfortunately I gave that to Ukraine.
Right. And then I got rid of all the loans so that people wouldn't have to pay anything back. So that's going to help too.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're going to put it on the back so people like Chris Mize. Who's there?
I'm just staring off in fucking space.
You were looking at somebody.
I'm just
So- You want to send these immigrants, whatever you want to call them now, what are the non-nationals, whatever they are. What do we call them?
undocumented. They're
These undocumented folks to hotels, and the mayor of San Diego, actually it's El Cajon, California Mayor Bill Wells, he now has an influx of homeless people on this voucher program. The problem with it is that, and they did their research and they looked around and they said, how many are undocumented in your hotel? Well, 50%, 25%, 100%. There's a whole hotel completely filled with them. They're on a voucher. They're good for 28 days. That hotel can't make any money, and they're not being taxed. They can't tax, but the hotels are being taxed from the state. So they have a huge problem now. And now where these vouchers are, everybody's flocking there.
Well, the problem is this. You go in, I go in, anybody in the right side goes in the hotel, your credit card, cash, they don't even like to see cash anymore, credit card.
Right.
And within sometimes automatically 3 to 4 days, they got their money. With a government voucher, you're looking up to 90 days.
Right. So what you're doing
3 months.
is putting a burden on the hotel that can't make money from somebody, like I used to fly all over the United States and stay in
Yeah.
hotels. I won't even be able to find a hotel in El Cajon because they're all filled with illegal aliens.
But next month, electric company's going to be knocking. Yo, $8,000 electric bill. Waiting on a check from the government, should be here in, another 2 months.
Right.
Sorry.
Because,
There ain't nobody going to give them a break. What are you going to tell the mortgage company if you got a loan on that building?
Because they are okay for 28 days there before they have to move. And then they just go to another hotel and get another 28 days. So what's your solution to that? Is Biden still spewing stuff out?
They're no longer criminals. Biden took care of that. They're no longer criminals, and that's the problem. And of course, we give them cell phones and ankle bracelets so they can go to their hearing aids, and then you drive 3 miles away from where they got them, and you see them all along the sides of the road. First thing I do is don't. And what was it? Took all the refugees in the flood net, or where was that? People were starving, and they were coming into Florida, down there by Will, actually. And I mean, these guys look like NFL football players getting off. And it was a country with terrorism, terrorist country. But we should not take anybody else in right now. Listen, we reported, this is, 7 months ago, Doug. Remember the India family from India?
Mm-hmm.
And mom and dad come over here how long ago? And they had the visa, and the kids went through school, and the girl graduated college, and they told them, okay, back to India. They were here like 18, 20 years. But yet, whatever. Productive to society, too, working, putting their kid through school. I mean, they didn't have college loans. They should have. I wonder if Biden forgive them. You know what? I wonder if Biden forgives the loans that are people come in from out of country. They don't have rights. They got rights as a criminal, in my opinion. They have rights that criminals have. Sometimes
they have a right to a speedy trial.
Yeah. Right to a speedy trial.
Well, they also have voting rights. Don't forget that. And somewhere in here I read
after 1 year.
I think it's the ones that we sent to Kuntala's house. They're shipping those over to the U.S. Armed Forces base, and I don't know which one it is. I don't know where they sent them, but why are we sending them to our bases?
Yeah, who knows? I guess they ain't got nothing else to do. Of course, then again, you could go with the rumors that are leaking out that we do have people in Ukraine, but whatever.
Well, yeah. Yep.
I mean,
so Sandusky's loaded with hotels, but let's say you go out to a place like what's around you that don't have hotels?
I don't know, Berlin Heights.
Berlin Heights, So when they get dropped off there, or there's homeless out there or whatever, the police just pick them up, take them into Sandusky and drop them off. Now go get yourself a hotel. And this is what's happening there.
There's enough fruit farms and that out there that I'm sure they'd find a job real quick.
Right.
Yeah. Look at Norwalk. Look what they did in Norwalk. Oh, here we go. Tammy's going to start lighting it up now. They built almost a whole nother city inside a city
Yeah,
for
right.
for immigrants. You know, I mean, all right, Doug. What do we got going on next?
All right. So the,
We'll smash the computer, kick the TV.
right. Well, we're not going to hear
Trying to get
anything
on
more
his
about
phone.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Department of Defense, this is our military, they have what's called a Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer. That person is the one that makes sure that everything is,
Diverse.
is diverse, right? Well, this lady has put this out. I'm so exhausted with these white folk in these PD sessions, which I don't know what that means. This lady actually had the audacity to say that black people can be racist too. I had to stop the session and give Karen the business. We are not the majority. We don't have power. Why ask for assistance?
Yeah,
Can
that
you believe?
almost looks like that would look like something I wrote a few years back when I said, Doug, read this before I post it. My God, you got spell check, Chris. Jeez.
Right. This is a lady that's supposed to be making sure that the military is running with diversity and equity and all that kind of stuff. But she's going to give Karen the business because Karen had said, well, black people can be racist as well.
So we're paying her how much a year?
A lot. Now, just so that everybody knows, she's also the author of Racial Justice in America, What is White Privilege? She's also the author of What is Black Lives Matter Movement, because she supports that. She's also the author of What Does It Mean to Defund the Police? This is a person, and I don't know how she got a job. I'm sure those books were out before she became the queen. She's also the author of What is Anti-Racism? And she's the one that puts together all the stuff that we need to make sure that our military is diverse, inclusive, and how's that possible?
Ask Joe Biden.
What? Joe Biden.
Ask Joe Biden.
He don't probably have a clue. What? I'm white?
Well, he's yeah. I am not. He's the commander in chief. Ask him. He don't care.
Cadacity.
Listen.
Unbelievable.
If cadacity. Can you look that up? And is these part of them new nouns and pronouns coming in, Doug?
No, not yet. She's exhausted talking to us. And
Yeah,
she
you're
called
right.
the white females Karen.
Marty, you're right. They can't recruit people. Here, I'm so sick of this shit. It ain't even funny. Marty, and a few others. Greg ain't on tonight, but what I never understood was minority set-aside jobs.
Oh, we're doing that daily now.
We could not, you could not bid on a certain job unless you were a minority.
We talked about that, 3 weeks ago. I am not able to because I am white.
And Marty will vouch for this. Here's the saddest part about minority set-aside jobs. First they do if they get the job, they're a subcontractor. It don't matter. Oh, they cut us for a minute. I said minority set aside. Ooh. But ask Marty what they do. The first thing they would do. Whatever. So she's allowed to use slang terms in the government.
Well, she's under investigation now because all this just came to light this last week. I don't know how long she's been in there, but yeah.
Oh, Greg's on. I just woke Greg up with the minority set aside shit because he's been through it too. Right, black or females now. There's like 15. There is. So the first thing they do on Facebook, you can fact check this shit, is hire a subcontractor and don't even check, because then once you go into that, there has to be a certain amount of minority in the workforce and this, that, and minority set aside contractor, general contractor, doesn't even check that shit, Doug. Now I know that because in 2010, down in Burke Lake Front Airport, the cleaning, they clean out the dikes and haul it off, was won by a minority set aside. Black guy that was in the service had a Purple Heart. Boom, he got the job. General contractor. They had not one piece of equipment on the job. Hired company, Tommy will remember this, Tommy Hayward. The subcontractor that they hired did not have one minority working for it when we did the job. How's that even possible, Doug?
It's what we've been talking about.
Now, if you go to Cleveland, on some jobs that are put out, city jobs, there has to be so many people working on that job that live in the city of Cleveland, and so many of that has to be black. Nobody wants to work. What are you going to do?
True.
What are you going to do? I mean, there's jobs I know people haven't even bid on because of all this bullshit. It's real simple, Doug. When you bid a job, you're either lowest bidder or you're not. Simple.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. But when you go bid a job, it shouldn't matter on color, whatever. Race, female. Now, of course, we're getting away from using it anyway, but it should be on who the lowest bidder is. See, I'm not even acknowledging that they're doing it to me now. Yes. Whatever.
I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully, hopefully
Let's
they'll.
talk about school stuff.
Do you want to get into schools? We got a load of school stuff.
Yeah, let's
All
talk
right.
about schools.
Because that's an easy subject to talk about. That nothing goes on in our schools. Do you remember? It was late last year, maybe even early part of this year. I said that this kid went to school. He was taking a test, and the teacher would come around, and it's the proficiency test, which I semi agree with. I think we should have it, so if your kid's actually learning or not.
Yeah.
And the teacher would come by and let them know when they had something wrong. This is all computerized.
Yeah.
So they could go back and change it. So the teacher is given a bonus, and the schools get graded and all this based on how these proficiency tests come out. So if your students all do real well, then you're a pretty good teacher. Your school gets credit, and you may get a bonus and all this other stuff. When you're up for a raise, of course, it plays a part of that too. So, Will, down in Florida, there was a whole scandal that broke out over this, where a school actually, what's the name of the school? Pasco County. Are you still with us, Chris? Hello, Chris. Hello, Chris. All right, maybe he'll come back. So the school system had what they call gifted children, because they took this test and they ended up with such good results that they were deemed gifted students. What happened was there was a whistleblower that went out and are you back? See, you didn't acknowledge them, and that's what they do. We'll make you acknowledge us.
Go ahead.
How far did you hear?
I don't know. You started talking about the students instead of asking your neighbor, hey, what's the answer? The teacher's going to give you the answer because she gets
Right.
great
Teachers
at
give
it.
you the answer. So what happened in Florida was this whole scandal broke out where all the kids at this one school were doing really well on these tests. They investigated it. They found out that the teachers were doing exactly what I just said. They were giving answers. Plus, prior to the test, they would give them, you know how they give practice tests out for driver's ed and things like that. So you have some idea. Well, they were actually giving that out, but it was the actual test. It wasn't a practice test. It was called a practice test, but it was the actual test. So all this money that went to the school, all these teachers who got raises over it, one was fired, one's on leave right now, one resigned. And there's money that should have went to other schools that didn't go anywhere, but to this school that was actually lying.
So in other words, parents are going, I don't understand. Junior got all A's all the way through, had a 4.2 average, grade point average, and went to college and got not only put on academic probation, kicked out because he had all F's.
No, it happened that these students there was a whole group of them that were considered gifted students because they were doing so well on these tests.
Just like I'm saying.
Yes, and then they found out we're going to re-give the test, but we're going to actually be there when we give it, and then things turned ugly.
Yeah.
And then we put out.
Yeah.
Let's say this went on for years. We've put out students that don't know anything. They absolutely don't know anything.
Yeah.
And we wonder why we
It's
are
like I
where
said,
we're at
yeah.
today. Now, which got me thinking. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, hey, we dumb them down. The old saying, dumb them down. You know, there's probably auditors standing there when they're taking their test looking at a kid going, you're getting A's in physics and you shouldn't even be passing basket weaving 101. You know,
Exactly.
how'd you tie your shoes this morning? Your mommy tie them? You know,
Exactly. Right. Let me see if I can find this list here.
you know, I went to high school, dude. It was what it was. Didn't matter if you were an athlete, if you were, you know, hippie, whatever you want to call it. Didn't matter. You know, what? Trust me, I was a straight D student.
Straight B?
You know, D.
Oh, D?
I was allowed to play sports as long as I passed with D's. Even I was allowed to play, so that was my achievement.
Okay, so what I did, let me see where it actually says this. There are there's 13 schools that are ranked number 1 in Ohio.
Yeah.
Let me see. Share. Okay, here's the school that I'm talking about, and they are rated number 1. But if you talk to the kids that go to that school, they give them the answers. They're standing there and they're, that's wrong. Change that. So this isn't a real true representation of whether they're any good or not. You probably want to see what's it called, Berlin.
Berlin.
It's called something else. There it is. Edison.
Edison, yeah.
Okay, so Edison, and I'm going to give you the link to this so you can look it up. Your graduation rate is 97.7%. Your attendance rate is 92% for students, 93% for your teachers. Your average salary is $70,000. There's 1,379 students. And then if you take this and you go down, these stars have numbers in them. A 5 is as high as you can get. And then it explains what progress means and early literacy and, your financial stuff. So I'll put that in there, but you can look up the schools. You can see what they're doing. For example, financial data. Okay, so here's where your school ranks amongst that red dot represents Edison, and you can see similar school districts and kind of where they rate. And then if you do comparison to just the schools, and then all districts in the state of Ohio. And then you can see, spending per pupil. They're spending $10,700, where the state average is $11,200. For classroom instruction, $7,000. And some of these numbers, if you look into some of these districts, are really, really, really bad. And then your source of funding. From taxes, they're getting $10,730,261. From the state, they get $6 million. From federal government, $5 million. From other activities, which that includes tuition, extracurricular activity, grants, and things like that, $1 million. So your school's operating on a $21 million budget. The state average is $25 million, almost $26 million. So it's good information here to check and see really what your school's doing. Let me see. There was one other one. If you go through here, and I think it was graduation, and you look at the trend in 2020. Remember that year? You'll see a big drop in people or students that actually graduated. And most all the schools look like that. Almost all of them have that dip in 2020. So let me give you the link here. Copy. And you can put any school district you want.
I'm still here.
You're still there.
I broke away for a second. I had to watch the fight in the grandstands at Painesville for a minute. They were sent to me, but I'm back.
Who was fighting?
I don't know. It's fans. It was a hell of a Donnybrook. It was a hell of a Donnybrook, but whatever. All right, I'm back. I said I'd break in our breaking news. Big fight.
Big fight where?
Painesville.
Painesville?
Painesville Speedway.
And who won?
I don't know.
Police there?
I don't know where.
Can you get there before the police?
No. Hey, the C&D show.
Right? And you'll have your camera.
There's no black people fighting you, racist bastards.
So take a look at that report. It's filled with a lot of stuff that what
A lot of people look at that when they move.
yes,
They look at that report. They
Yes.
pull that report up and they look at it. And yeah, there is more and more parents homeschooling. And I can tell you, I don't know if I said it on the show or not, but you know, my one grandbaby goes to Northwest down in Canal Fulton, and Scarlet will too. Eventually, both of them. The other two will be going to Perkins. One is in Perkins, and I can tell you right now, with these two here in Perkins, this shit starts going on, or anything goes on goofy in Perkins schools, or any of the other bullshit with the gunplay or whatever. I can tell you right now, it's already been. Debbie will be homeschooling the girls. She'll be retired and homeschool the girls.
Well, before we get done with today, you'll probably have them.
She'll probably be retired.
right. Be retired and now a teacher.
We went into the show. You were going to work tomorrow, but the show's over. You're retired.
So, are you familiar or have you heard what's going on in Mentor public school system?
It's hard to say up there.
Okay, so Mentor is, and the only reason I bring this up is because, you know what, we talk about it all over the country. Now it's starting to get into Ohio and closer and closer and closer to home. But teachers can just use those preferred pronouns name with the student, and there's no need to share the info with the parents. That has been passed by the Mentor School District. They passed it. You don't have a choice. Hi, Troy. They on August 31st, that went into effect. So
what gives us? Go ahead.
I'm not going to be able to answer what you're going to ask, but if the kids want to go to school and say, "I'm a she," then the teacher needs to just address him as she.
And the parents don't have to be notified.
No. Because
See this, listen. I've said this a million fucking times. You know, we vote the school board members in. Their
Yes.
paychecks come
Yes.
from our taxes.
yes,
So therefore, they work for us. I don't give a fuck what way you paint this picture. They work for us. We vote them in. We pay taxes. That's where their payroll comes from. Right? Oh, now you're frozen.
no, I'm just so Mentor recently informed teachers they have no obligation to inform parents if a transgender or transitioning student as young as 11 requests to be called by a different name or pronoun.
I don't give a fuck what the explanation is. School board passed it, and they work for us, and now they're keeping information from us.
Problem is you're never going to know that. And remember, my first thing was, why don't we have cameras in classroom? You're
Because of
never going
this.
to know that. Right.
Because of this. But you see, that's where I get agitated, is the fact that they work for us. You know, me and Marty were talking the other day, and Marty goes, "This is exactly why my kids go to private schools. You're paying tuition at a private school, and that they got to answer to you. This is no fucking different, Doug. We're paying taxes to a public school. They should have to answer to us.
Well,
Not bullshit behind our back and keep this from mom and dad.
But see, there's no recourse, because when you go into a school board meeting and you go, I object to you allowing students to say and do whatever. Well, that's just our policy. What are you going to do about it?
You're a domestic terrorist.
That was the last story I just went over that I left that out. But yes, they are referring to parents that go against the school board as they're referring to them as the people that rioted the Capitol building. They're being compared to them.
Never mind the people that burnt cities up.
I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that last week. Or thank God.
Remember, Tammy, I said all you have to do, you don't have to really do anything to become a school.
File
I think
paperwork.
you have to have. We talked about it. What? What'd you say?
You gotta have 10 or more people, I believe it was, and you have to file the paperwork.
Right, and you can be a school,
Yes.
and you can decide if you want your teachers to be certified or if they can be moms and dads or whatever. You can do that.
As long as you pass the state exams, the tests. And as you see, all you gotta do is help them with the answer.
So the question to everybody is that we don't like any of this that's going on, but when we go to the school board, we're just shut down by saying it's our policy. It's going to remain. Your child has our protection.
Deborah, you're right about the morals, but I'm gonna sound like I'm way off conspiracy theory guy, but it's not all about that, in my opinion, just the morals. It's about controlling and doctrine and the new feature that's coming to these states that a lot of us people aren't going to agree with. So what they're doing is keeping us right out of the equation. We'll teach your fucking kids how we want to teach them, and we'll put in their heads what we want to put in them. And you just sit home, shut up, and be a good little bitch.
It's when they're thinking about it, they're looking at it like, well, I don't call you every time your student fails a spelling test, or
Well, I wish you would.
Algebra, or
I wish you would.
They do that periodically through.
I wish you would.
Report cards.
Yeah, it's serious shit like that. You know, fuck, man. You know, that's all it is. That's all it is.
But the problem is there's nothing you can.
This is why they want to vote at 16. You know, I'm a fucking extremist. I'm already classified. You know, I go to the school board meeting.
You are. The president actually called you out.
I'll be in Milan, Michigan next. You know, federal prison.
When your grandkids come home and they're not saying, "Hey, I told my teacher to call me he," and he does. You unless you specifically know, you're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Well, the best one that's out, and we talked about it before, is there's parents. Well, that was obvious. When the American School Board Association wrote a letter to Joe Biden, and 5 days later, people were being investigated. You know, that who has control over the president when you see that. But, you know, there's parents. We've touched base on this again. Now, you know, I've heard of a situation around here, Doug, where a child's born, baby's born, right? They don't have he, she, whatever. You know, it
Right.
was until that child determines what it wants to be.
Yes, correct.
Are you fucking kidding me? So, I mean, what? You know what? At 3 years old, Dad, Why is that there? Yeah, I'm supposed to be a female. Who's who? You know, I got problems with this. I got problems with this because what are you telling this kid as a child growing up? What do you know? Hey, Ed, come here. What do you mean, Ed? Is it my name? Well, it is till you decide what your name is and what you are.
Right. You got
You
the
know.
choice of your name and pronoun, whatever you want it to be.
I mean, give me a break.
But look at this picture and tell me, would you even feel comfortable going up to the Mentor School Board and voicing your opinion when you got to look at them from this view, like they are the almighty, and they're going to tell you, well, sir, Mr. Mize, that's our policy. We adopted that last meeting. If you have a problem, just see your principal.
I seen him and he said, "Go to you."
Well, we've already voted on it. There's no
Well,
change.
we the people want policy change. Can we have a vote?
That's funny anymore.
We the tax, yeah, no shit. It ain't we the people no more.
Right.
Oh my gosh, you servants, you peasants. Greg Miller, I still want to put a heterosexual parade together.
Ian Greg.
Yeah, Greg was all for it last time. Let's put a heterosexual parade together.
We're going to be talking about the kitties here in a minute.
You fucking cat. You identify as a cat here, motherfucker. Here's some kitty chow. Eat that. What's for breakfast, Dad? I bought Friskies. I got the soft cans here.
It was an open meeting, but isn't that a little intimidating where they're sitting up on a stage all flanked out like that?
I tell you what, that was more intimidating than Joe Biden with the blood red backdrop.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because Joe Biden. Yeah. And you're right. Marty and Mike, you're right. It should. Right, Troy, that's what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. But
Listen.
somewhere down the line, and honestly, somewhere down the line in the last 3 years, it's become bad. It's been going on. But in the last 3 years, 3 years, they don't feel that way. They do not feel that way, Troy. They feel that you don't need to know. You're on an as need to know basis. There, you're on a need to know basis. And who decides when you need to know is the fucking school board and the principal.
Okay, and the first thing that you have to remember is you need to make sure that you do your homework on the State Board of Education, because then you have some step to go to if your local Board of Education is all filed up. And that is coming up in 22, in less than 50 days, I believe.
I can tell you this. Mark Paquita, when he was running for senator, it was last year, wasn't it? About this time last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Address the Ohio State School Board. Mark asked a couple questions they didn't like. Remember that, Doug? They did not like. Drilled the one guy and they started calling him. We're not going to take your bullying, and they got right down rude to him. This is a guy running for United States Senator.
Right.
So, it's like here. It's like this. And once again, we take our eyes off everything else. Who does your local health, your local health board, your local health department? Who does your local health department answer to? County commissioners? No.
Who?
They don't answer to the county commissioners.
Who?
The local health departments, they do not answer to anybody in the county. Erie County Health Department, Pete Shade, he doesn't answer to anybody in the county. He does not have to answer to any of them commissioners or anybody.
There
they won't.
is okay. So the health department has a board that they report to. That board reports to the state health department.
What's that, Doug?
The health department has a health commissioner or whatever. He or she reports to the local health commission board. They report to the state board of health.
Yeah, but they don't report to any of the county officials.
Correct. Now down here, our commissioner, our health commissioner, does go to the commissioner meetings and keeps them updated. But
Keeps them updated, but he don't have to.
They can't
can
say,
say
well,
we
we're
need you to
gonna
do this.
Yeah, that's not
No,
happening.
you're not. Yeah, you ain't doing whatever until I tell you. But the thing of it is this. Why do Erie County taxpayers pay to Erie County Health Department when it's state run? You pay separate taxes, go to your local. It should all be out of the state taxes. Oh, yeah. If you break down your local taxes in the county and shit, there's so much of it goes to the health department. Yes, it is. Look it up.
Right, but why are you saying that the state should?
It's because they don't report to any county official. They report directly down to the state, Doug. Amy Acton, for example. That's who they report to. A county commissioner can tell the health department, you can't do that. And they can tell you, go blow it in your ass, pal. We'll do whatever the fuck we want unless Columbus tells us we can't. When Amy Acton called us and told us we can't, then we can't. So why is there county tax money funding the health department when it should all be through state funded?
I'm gonna have to ask that question.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I thought that and I don't know. I don't know. I shall not answer because I don't know.
Yeah, but Marty, the problem is this. There would have been I can't believe that's what I was reading. There wouldn't, honestly, there would have been some that were worse. I agree with you on that. But there would have been some that, let's face it, like Shady Bull Speedway, Doug, Rick Young, our friend down there in DeGraff, Ohio. There's nothing around there but cornfields. So,
Right.
Should the mandates have been different? Yes. They're following mandates that were set for the bigger cities and stuff like that. It is what it is. You ain't gonna get a direct answer. Just if any you want to run around, you got nothing but days of time. It's called the Ohio State Health Department and Columbus, and ask them a question.
And have time. Make sure that you put some time out.
Because the lady that answered the phone, put you on hold, said she's going to get a supervisor. Yeah,
She has
she's
to walk.
out doing her nails and stuff, and then looking back. Can you believe he's been on hold for an hour and still there?
Right.
They haven't give up yet.
Do my hair while you're at it.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, sir. Yeah, she didn't get on. Oh, okay. Let me go see what happened.
Yeah. And then you call back 2 hours later. They didn't call you yet? No, they haven't called us in a month, man.
Okay. So imagine you having kids in Homer City, Homer Center High School and receiving
Homer
this in Pennsylvania and receiving this correspondence. Today, September 14th, our school received numerous calls regarding a post on the Homer City Crime Watch Facebook page suggesting that Homer Center School District had placed kitty litter boxes in the restrooms of our schools to accommodate students who allegedly are identifying as cats. Now, if you
I told you that though.
now you and me, we know that, but can you imagine the lady next door who goes to work every day and comes home and she knows what are you talking about? Identifying as a cat and putting kitty litter boxes in.
And we're allowing this fucking dumb shit.
There it is right there. We have no litter boxes in any restroom within the Homer Center School District. We have received no notice, nor are we aware of any student in our district that identifies as a cat, dog, or other animal. Can you believe that this is happening? If I didn't do this show, I probably wouldn't know much about all this. And I would just sit there and look at my kids and go, "What are you talking? What is this?"
Here, our opener. You threw that in.
Yeah.
Identify a fucking cat. And everybody's
Right.
laughing. But that was serious. You can identify as a fucking cat. They got their own fucking kitty litter places now where they can go and do their shit in a kitty litter box, right?
Well, not in this school.
I mean,
You cannot be a cat in this school and use a kitty litter box.
but what I'm saying, other schools you can.
I know.
And they have separate place for them.
Can you,
What are they worried somebody's going to bring their fucking dog to school or what?
can you
know?
believe this? Can you believe this is actually happening? If
Right
you went
now?
to the school and you wanted to talk to the principal, you know what? I'm going to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. And you walked in, there's kitty litter boxes, and there's a kid in there.
How big's the box got to be? Kid sitting there with his furry suit, the bottom dropped out of it. Make sure you put that kitty litter over that shit like a real cat, you dumb son of a bitch. You know, but that's...
Okay, now it also goes on to say, furthermore,
What, here?
review. Listen.
Hold on. Oh, all right, go ahead.
Furthermore, a review of surveillance footage indicated no evidence of any student being led around by a leash. Well, I would be completely lost. I'd have to ask my kid, "What do you mean? What are they talking about here, kids?" You know, it can be a cat. No, you can't.
But this kid wants to identify, and hear me out on this. This kid wants to identify as a cat, right? So, you know, they set him a litter box up and all this happy horse shit. But like I said, get him a can of Friskies out in the morning, put it on the table. What's that? Your fucking breakfast. You want to be a cat? You're going full go at it, buddy. I support you 100%, kid. There you go. There's some meow mix too. Well, I'm thirsty. There's your fucking bowl of water. Have at it, kid.
I agree with Greg. I don't even know how this school system even intelligently wrote this, and it is good.
Somebody had to write it. Can you imagine? You know, one of us sitting there. I really got to write this.
Right. I'm really going to put that we don't have kitty litter boxes in our restrooms.
You know, in my letter would say, "Hey, listen, you just wasted mental capacity that I don't have to even comprehend this fucking bullshit about furries. So listen to me. Your kids are not going to get fucking kitty litter boxes, and what they should get is your hand upside their fucking head to knock some common sense into them." But that's bullying and mean.
Congratulations to Homer's Center High School for putting it out there that there's no kiddies in their school and they have no litter boxes and nobody's being pulled around by a leash.
Yeah, Marty's right. Look at Marty's comment. Allergies. I can't teach this kid why I got cat allergies. Well, you know, fuck you. He's identifying as a fucking
Right,
cat.
exactly. You're right.
I'm
You're
allergic
right.
to cats. We're not going to take the chance.
All right.
What happens when that? When that goes? What happens when a teacher gets a set of balls? Say, I'm allergic to fucking cats.
Well, you know, they are suing the school districts now, and they're starting to win. So we might get some sensibility back.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens now when every time your student checks out a book in the library, you get an email with what they checked out?
I'm okay with that.
Are you?
I guess a lot of other people ain't. Huh?
Well,
Invasion of privacy. Let me fucking guess.
no, but
You're
But-
invading that kid's privacy. He's fucking 13, you stupid
what happens
bastard.
if a 15-year-old checks out I Am Gay book? You're going to have a talk when they get home.
You know, I believe that's between the family.
Right. You're going to have a talk with them. When he wanted to he was just curious. Now he's in the system, is checking this book out.
Well, you know, gaydatingsite.com. They'll put them in the system. I don't know.
Look at some of these books.
Why is this shit in fucking school?
It's
You know, the best video we shown all year is when that kid yanked a book and checked the book out of the school library, went in front of the school board and started reading it, and that school board lady went fucking ballistic.
right.
And he
Right.
said, wait a minute, this is a book I got out of the school library.
Right. And you're allowed 3 minutes or whatever they give you. So you should be able to read 3 minutes of the book.
Right. She shut him off after what, 20 seconds, 15
Yeah.
seconds?
Oh, yeah. She did. Yeah. She
That's
didn't want to hear about it.
offensive. Well, what do you mean it's offensive?
I don't.
Whatever. Yeah.
Are you?
Just see. No, I already, you know.
Do you know what that means?
He speaks out what? Bondage and shit.
Yeah. She did not think that was appropriate for learning. And that's what a lot of these books. It should be about learning, not all this extracurricular activity that you can find out on your own with your pronouns.
Where was
They-
that book when I was in high school?
Exactly.
Where was that book when I was in high school? Maybe I'd have got more dates. I didn't know you could do this. Hey, come here, honey. Daddy's learned a new trick. Well, I don't get it. I don't know. I can't remember. When was sex ed when we were in school? What, freshman?
I think, yeah, 8th or 9th grade. And it was very general and basic,
Yeah.
at least when I
Look,
went through.
Here's a picture of nuts and dick. That's a guy. Here's a picture
Yeah.
of vagina.
And
That's a girl.
When you guys want to do something, this is how you do it.
When
And
this
that was the
goes
end of it.
here, baby's born. So don't,
15 minutes.
yeah, I mean,
They made it go a week long now. We have some video for you, some
Yeah.
films. We have some films for you to watch. Remember films?
films. Yeah, they had a projector, and
And I'm not sure if this is in all schools or not, but do you know what? You remember study hall?
Do I remember? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
called study hall?
Yeah.
Now it's called personalization time.
Personalization. What the fuck's that mean?
It's
That means
for
you
you.
talk to your buddy?
Well, when I watched the video, that's kind of what they alluded to. It's like, well, because the guy said, "What is personalization? What is that on your schedule?" Well, that's kind of like a study hall where you can go in, your friends are there, and you can study or whatever. So it does sound like it is truly personalization.
Well, see, the good kids in Edison, the good kids, you got put on, an honor system, student lounge, they called it, way down the end of the school where they could do that, sit around bullshit and do
Right,
their homework. Us assholes had to sit in study hall. And,
right, and keep
you had-
quiet.
You had Miss
open
Moon,
the book.
Mrs. Grant,
Open the book.
Miss
Yeah.
Moon, Miss Grant, all them there, you go,
Yeah.
shut up! Open the book
Right.
up, study. Okay. Yeah, no shit, Mike. Remember Miss Moon? Ooh.
I never had study hall. I made sure that, and I don't know why I did it, but I just made sure that I never ended up with study hall. It was just so boring. And no,
Study
I
hall.
was not a good A student. Not even close. I should have had study hall.
Like Mike said, study hall was nap. You tried to get that towards the end of the day to take a nap before football, basketball, or whatever.
Right.
Get a little nap in, but whatever.
All
All right,
we're
what
at
else
our
we got?
time. We're at our time.
Oh, we didn't give pizza away. We'll give one away next week, Dean.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give you a break. Dean Henner, Big D's Pizza. We'll still give him a shout out if you're in Clyde, Ohio.
Ohio.
Clyde, Ohio. Big D's Pizza. He is looking for a manager, though.
Manager.
Yeah.
Is it remote?
It must be, man. I tried calling that one day. Dean called. He answered. Dean answered the phone
Oh wow.
from home.
Okay.
From home, he answered the phone.
Is
Yeah.
that probably wasn't good?
Oh, he was pissing with me. It was kind of funny that one day.
I remember that study hall. Yeah, if it's
Yeah.
remote, I'll do that.
But hey, put some of his stuff up.
All right, let's
Make
see
you
what we
guys
got.
hungry here.
Let's see what we got. Some food. Okay, we start
Tell you
with
what,
that.
you can't go wrong.
You know what? I seen something else that I used to put up.
Thanks, Troy.
What did Troy say? I'm on a different screen.
Great show. Great show, guys. Keep it up. See you soon.
Okay.
Look
Now,
at that.
that one, I forgot I had that one.
Same one as the other one.
No, it's not. Here's the other one.
Oh, look at that, Doug.
Yes. Yeah, I was supposed to get that. Didn't.
Dean's closed on Mondays now, so I have to wait till Wednesday. Look at that. That's the one I want right there. Extra bacon. Oh, we're not giving away nothing tonight, Chaz. It's too late. We got talking about fucking cats.
Sure, that seems to take up a
You know
lot
what
of
happens if you go to
It what?
look at that the food?
Oh yeah.
That looks
And-
good too,
And I
actually.
have not eaten yet, so. Dean? Do you DoorDash at all?
They had DoorDash 3 hours.
Well,
ago.
not to me, but do you
And keep it
DoorDash?
warm.
DoorDash, and what's the other one?
He
Uber.
delivers. Uber Eats, DoorDash.
Yeah, but if you DoorDash, you're using the other people's drivers.
Chaz, I could take that 10 different ways. The white
Okay.
teeth transmission. I wonder if Chaz dressed up as a journey. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I got a blow transmission.
yeah. No white
Transmission
teeth
line.
transmission. He ain't allowed to
Is
say
he-
tranny.
Is Dean still
Oh.
on?
He probably is. He's hiding.
I just want to know if you DoorDash.
He does, I believe.
How do you know?
I just know things.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he does. He delivers DoorDash, I'm sure. I mean, he's up in the times, you know.
You never know.
All right, people.
We will never know.
Use people. Thanks for watching. Anything else, Doug?
No, there was probably 3 or 4 more things, but it's all school related, and it's mostly the same thing over and over and over again. And you know what? The one thing that happens here is we talk about it so much that it just dumbs us down to it. It's like, yeah, well,
Troy, you want to stay? Troy, stay on for a minute. Just one more minute. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Doug.
okay. We're just not. I told you this a long time ago. You're just going to get so used to it that it's, yeah, okay. Like the pronoun thing. I'm so sick of hearing about it, and there's nothing we can do about it. So
I'm gonna go on a little kick here, Doug.
all right,
Not related to anything that we talked about.
okay. Leave the scroller run then.
People get divorces. People don't get together. People split ways, go their different ways. But there's kids involved, Doug. How many times do you see this?
Hold on.
You know, whether it's the female, male, or whatever pronoun you all want to call yourselves, one thing you need to remember is using a child for whatever way, or not letting the other people see the child, this, that, and the other goes on. Someday that child's going to grow up and start finding truths out. And it's going to burn whoever did that's ass. And it's going to backfire on them. So if you're one of them people that are doing that, or you're one of the people on the receiving end, I empathize with you. But remember, there's no way a child should be played as a pawn. It's happening a lot lately. And trust me, you know, whatever reasons you might have or whatever, trust me when I tell you this, it always backfires. And it always comes back to haunt you. Because sooner or later, that kid's going to become older and start thinking stuff and realizing there's been a bunch of lies. And it's not going to be good. I know this firsthand, though. So, other than that, think about that if you're in that situation. It's not good. Other than that, I got nothing, Doug. Do you?
Yes, if you're a small business owner, watch out for fakers that are interviewing for your jobs. What's going on is they're paying people up to $150 an hour to sit into for their job interview. And I can see how they get around that.
Really?
Especially in medium-sized companies. You go to a HR department, you get hired, then this person comes in and they're the active worker.
And they never see me. You know, HR never sees me again.
Right.
Jeez, Pete. All right, people. God bless all of you. God bless America. Thanks for watching.
And we will see ya. Here we go.